transforming remnants. I think this session is going to be very, very interesting, and I'm pretty sure that after the session, people will have a lots of questions, lots and lots of questions. I'm expecting that, and we will see how a simple thing, which we take for granted, cooking the food and eating every day, how that can transform us, uh, from the spiritual point of view. Okay, how it can help us to progress on the path of self-realization very, very nicely. Okay, so before I proceed, just give me a second. Okay. Yes. So before I proceed, I will perform some pranam mantras to invoke auspiciousness. Those who know can repeat after me, while those who don't, just try to listen very intently, because listening is also very, very purifying. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahayam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Gururo Shri Uta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenbandhu Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। नमः ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघते गिरि यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दीनतारिणं परमानंद माधवं श्री चैतन्यमीश्वरं। हरि ओम तत्सत्। Okay. All right. Yes, so before proceeding, I would like to dedicate this session to the founder Acharya of ISKCON, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. I would also like to dedicate this session to my Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, and I hope that this humble effort of mine will please both these personalities, and may they bestow their blessings on all of us. So speaking of Srila Prabhupada, okay, so as you know that this particular session is dedicated to Prasadam, okay, what Prasadam can do and how it can transform our lives, okay. So speaking of Srila Prabhupada, how many of you are coming here for the first time or maybe second, third time? Okay, so yeah, so do you have any information about who Srila Prabhupada is?
The basic idea that I have is he's the one who gave the knowledge about Lord Krishna and what Lord Krishna can do.
Yes.
And he's the one who introduced us to be here right now. And
Very nice.
praise Lord.
Very nice, very nice. Okay, so some information we already have, that obviously yes, he is the founder Acharya, and very recently he was given the title of Jagat Guru by the government of India, right? Because he was the one who spread the holy names of Lord Sri Krishna all across the world. But in order to do that, he had to go through very, several hardships basically, right? His Guru Maharaj, actually, I'll just give a quick introduction, okay, so that all of you are on the same page before we proceed. His Guru Maharaj, His Holiness, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhakti Vedanta, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Maharaj, right? So he actually gave instructions to Srila Prabhupada that whenever you have some money, you print some books and then spread the message of Krishna consciousness or spread the message of Lord Chaitanya in the Western countries. Okay, so Srila Prabhupada took these two instructions as his life, as his heart and his soul, right? And at a very ripe age of 70, right, what he did was that he first, somehow like facing lot of hardships, while remaining in India. He used to travel from Vrindavan to Delhi, right, and he was actually getting the first edition of Srimad Bhagavatam printed, okay, the first canto. And he didn't have any resources, he didn't have any funds, so he himself, kept on traveling from Vrindavan to Delhi. He went to the wholesaler, paper wholesaler, to get the papers for printing, the binding, and then he went to the printing press himself, and then ensured that everyone is, everything is, going as per his plan. He did the proofreading, before the books were printed. So many things he did for himself, and all that at an age of around 68 or 69. So just imagine, at that age when people today struggle to even walk, right? He was taking all these hardships. And when he was 69 years old, he finally decided that, okay, he will go and he will preach in the United States of America, right? So he boarded a ship which was known as Jaladuta, and he started his journey to United States of America, right? On the way, he suffered two heart attacks, okay, and still, those heart attacks did not deter his confidence, to preach and to fulfill the instructions of his Guru Maharaj. When he landed in America, in the Boston harbor, he had only 40 rupees in his pockets, okay, and 40 rupees was just like, a few hours of expenditure in the United States at that time. He didn't know whether to go right, whether to go left, or whether to go straight, right? And with that, his journey actually started there. He had no clue whatsoever that how he is going to preach there. And finally, and also, after some days, he also had his typewriter stolen. All he had was 40 rupees in his pocket, his typewriter, so that he could keep on translating the scriptures. And then he had the first canto of the newly printed Srimad Bhagavatam with him. The typewriter also got stolen, right? So this was the kind of hardships that he was facing. But the biggest challenge that Prabhupada faced, was that he could not fully understand the Western culture, when he first landed in the United States of America, right? And at the same time, the people who were in the US, they were also not very well versed with the Vedic culture, okay, so this cultural difference was actually causing lots and lots of problems, okay, and they just didn't know. Even in India, when Prabhupada speaks today, like if you hear his lectures, because of his thick Bengali accent, even we find it difficult to understand what he's trying to say, right? So just imagine what would have been the situation of, his first disciples who were there. A very nice incident, a funny incident which I would like to narrate here, was that one day Srila Prabhupada just started giving a class, okay, and he started speaking. At that time, his secretary was His Grace Shyam Sundar Prabhu, right? So Shyam Sundar Prabhu, as soon as Prabhupada started speaking, he just ran out of the room and just started calling all the fellow devotees, hey, come, Swamiji is speaking something very nice. I don't understand a thing, but whatever he's saying, he's saying something really, really good. So this was the situation at that time. So just imagine, how much confusion would have been there in Prabhupada's mind, okay, that how to preach the people who are not even, trying to understand or who don't understand what he is trying to preach. How will they, grab the concepts of, say, the spirit soul or the transmigration of spirit soul, right? All these high level topics, how will they try to understand? They just didn't have that, spiritual maturity at that time, correct? So Prabhupada thought through it, and he decided to use two very potent angas of bhakti, okay, to transform these people, okay, because Prabhupada was a very firm believer that these two angas are very, very potent, especially in the age of Kali Yuga. And these two potent angas of bhakti are chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra and the Prasadam. Okay, so this is how Prabhupada actually started this concept of prasadam. Okay, and he introduced this. And then what happened after that? Okay, when Prabhupada was in the United States, who can tell me that what was the first center that he opened in the United States of America? Sorry? Yeah, Matchless Gift, a gift shop, right? So it was just a small center. I don't know whether it was this big, what we are sitting right now, or maybe a very small one. Okay, and the thing was that Prabhupada himself actually he did everything in that center. Basically, right from cleaning up the center, decorating the devotees, cooking the prasadam himself. And mind you, he was a very very good cook. Okay, his prasadam was not like a रूखा सूखा खाना कुछ भी बना करके दे दिया. It was not like that. Okay. He used to prepare puris, kachoris, nice vegetables, sabjis, right? And then scone bullets, right? So those who don't know, let me tell you, scone bullets are the gulab jamuns basically. Okay, the concept behind scone bullets is just if you shoot a bullet to someone, what will happen? That person simply dies, right? Similarly, if you shoot scone bullet in someone's mouth, all the anarthas and all the material contamination which are there in our heart, they just die, right? So he just prepared himself the gulab jamuns, right? And after serving the prasadam, oh, okay, just a second. Just a second, give me a second. This is not my screen. This is definitely not my screen. Now it is. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Okay, so he used to prepare the prasadam himself. He used to honor that prasadam and everything he used to do. Okay, and he used to take very good care of his devotees. He was his good care of his disciples, and he was very very devoted to his disciples as well as people who were coming in the center. Okay, at that time. And not only that, after serving the prasadam, Prabhupada himself cleaned all the plates which were there. Okay, so these are some of the examples which Prabhupada used to set, as an acharya. Okay, an acharya should not be someone who is just sitting on the Vyasasana and giving the lectures or giving the instructions to his disciples and so on. But they should always lead by example. Okay, just because he was an acharya, that didn't mean that he will not do anything. Okay, this is the kind of example which Prabhupada used to set. Okay, and not only that, speaking of scone bullets, he used to prepare a big jar of gulab jamuns. Okay, huge jar of gulab jamuns he used to prepare, and he used to keep it outside the center. Okay, and then people were just used to come and go and pop one or two gulab jamuns in their mouths. Right? Just imagine if we keep a big jar of gulab jamun outside the center, what will happen? You are not going to do that. Just I'm letting your imaginations run wild, right? So, but yeah, this is what Prabhupada used to do, because he was a firm believer that this prasadam will one day transform these devotees, and it did happen, right? It did happen. So if you look at the picture here, how the transformation took place actually. All these people, especially at that time in United States of America, this is 1968-69, right, when Prabhupada was there. There was a big trend going on in the United States at that time, and that was the counterculture or the hippie culture, right? And basically what this counterculture was, that anyone who is above the age of 30 years, just don't listen to them, because they all are fools. This was the mindset of people at that time, right? We are young people, we want something new, and they were looking for some higher taste in life, and in their quest, what happened, they just faltered down their path. Okay, and they started drug abuse, substance abuse, LCD, marijuana, whatever. I don't even know the names properly, but they started taking that. And the 4 regulative principles that we follow here at ISKCON, they used to break it each and every single day, every hour, every minute, right? ऐसा कोई काम नहीं था, illegal काम which they didn't used to do. Okay, and So much so that when Prabhupada was staying at a place, in Browrie, I guess, and that whole place was full of these hippies, basically, right? And Prabhupada had to struggle to go to his room because they were all lying on the corridors, okay, just completely drunk. Some people were so drunk that they would even throw up right at there in the corridor itself. But one good thing was, whenever they saw Prabhupada, the aura of Prabhupada was such that they tried to give him the way. They did not argue with him or didn't, take up any fights with him. But this was the place where Prabhupada was staying. A lot of struggles he had to face. And then that historic day came, when in New York at Tompkins Square Park, first Kirtan Prabhupada performed under that elm tree, the historic elm tree, which is now known as the Hare Krishna tree in New York, right? Simply by chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he attracted so many devotees, and some of them actually became their disciples. And steadily their hearts got transformed, their lives got transformed. And today, what you see in picture number 3, they all became from hippies to the preachers of the Bhagavad Gita, right? Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. Even today, like if you see the disciples of Srila Prabhupada, right? Very recently we had the great fortune of associating with His Holiness Loknath Swami Maharaj. He was here, right? And His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu, he comes here every year, basically, right? And His Holiness Radhanath Swami Maharaj is there. My Guru Maharaj, His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj is there, right? These all are men of profound knowledge. Profound knowledge. You just spend 5 to 10 minutes with them, you will get so much to learn. Okay, you don't even have to interact with them. Just listen to them for 5 and 10 minutes, and then you will be learning so much. Last year, when His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu was here, I had the fortune of getting a signed copy of his book, Surrender Unto Me. So that was something very, very nice, right? So this is how Prabhupada transformed the lives of people, okay, from hippies to the preachers of the Bhagavad Gita. And another thing which Prabhupada did was the sattvic food, right? When we go abroad, it is very, very difficult for devotees to find sattvic food. Okay, I would recall 2 incidents. That there was one guy, I would not like to name the country. He went there and he ordered for a veg sandwich. Right? When the sandwich came, he found that there were a couple of chicken pieces inside that, 2 or 3. So he just argued. He went to the manager or like whoever the store owner was, that how I have ordered the veg sandwich, how come can you serve me chicken in that, right? So the store manager looked at it. Oh, there are just 2 pieces. It's a negligible amount. Veg hi hai. You just go and take it, right? So this is the kind of mindset people have there. My own cousin, like when he went to one of the European countries, he also ordered a sandwich, veg sandwich there. They just inserted a fish in that sandwich and they served him. And when he asked that why the fish is there, fish is not non-veg. This is the kind of logic that they are. They don't consider fish as non-vegetarian, right? So you will see that when we go out, we actually find it very difficult to find sattvic food. Okay, especially the devotees, they struggle so hard, right? But thanks to Srila Prabhupada, right, because of his mercy, each and every major city all around the world today has an ISKCON center, and devotees can very well go there. They can have as much prasadam as they want. By the grace of Krishna and the Guru Parampara of ISKCON, there is no dearth of prasadam anywhere. Okay, so this is what Srila Prabhupada has done, to people like us, fallen souls like us, right? So the science of Mahaprasad. How many of you are ready to know the science of Mahaprasad? What can Mahaprasad do? Yes, very nice. So, okay, so there are several aspects of devotional service or bhakti. Okay, some of them say Kirtan is one aspect. Okay, book distribution is another aspect, or deity worship is another aspect. There are so many different aspects, right? And even if we attach ourselves to any one of these angas, okay, our lives will become perfect. Slowly and surely we will start developing taste in all the other angas of bhakti, and then we will start, getting matured, as we progress on the path of spirituality. For example, if someone is a very good kirtaniya, right, they should take up the kirtan seva. Keep doing on kirtan, keep doing on kirtan. Slowly and surely we will start developing taste in the other angas also. Similarly, if someone is a very good, deity worshipper, right, they should take up the pujari seva, okay, and they keep on doing that, and slowly they will progress on that path, okay. So same is the case with prasadam, okay. You just cook, you offer it to Krishna, and then you honor that prasadam, okay. Have that prasadam, you along with your family, right, and you see slowly the transformation will start happening. Okay, so you get attached to any one of these processes and you will slowly but surely become a pure devotee. Okay, that is guaranteed. So how does prasadam transform lives? Okay, we'll see this now. Okay, so first of all, I would like to give you, some little information on the three modes of material nature. Okay, you see, every jivatma, okay, every spirit soul, okay, is basically bound by the three modes of material nature. Okay, everything that we do, every action that we perform, okay, they are done under the control of three modes of material nature. If we read the 13th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, okay, we will understand that we are not doing anything. As spirit souls, essentially, we are not doing anything. Okay, only thing that we do is that we desire. Okay, if we make a desire that, oh Krishna, I want to serve you, the three modes of material nature, Krishna will approve that desire first. Three modes of material nature will start acting, and then we progress on the path of spirituality. Okay. Similarly, if we desire that, oh Krishna, I want to have a can of beer, right? Krishna will just look at your past lives, past credits. He will see that, okay, this guy, okay, he has sufficient past credits to enjoy a can of beer, so he will sanction that. And three modes of material nature will come into action, and then we will do that. Okay. So these three modes of material nature are Satogun, which is the mode of goodness, Rajogun, which is the mode of passion, and Tamogun, which is the mode of ignorance. And every single one of us has a mix of these three gunas. Okay, none of us can claim that I am only in the mode of goodness, or I am only in the mode of passion, or I am only in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so these are the three modes of material nature, and based on these three modes of material nature, each and every aspect of our lives are also given. Okay, what the actions that we perform, okay, that is also governed by the three modes of material nature. The charity that we do, that is also governed by the three modes of material nature. How we behave, okay, or how we talk to people, that is also governed by the three modes of material nature. And finally, the food we eat, that is also are in the three modes of material nature. Okay, and Krishna himself will tell us which are the food which are in the mode of goodness, which are the foods that are in the mode of passion, which are the foods that are in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so mode of passion and mode of ignorance are basically the lower modes of material nature. Okay, that means if a person is primarily situated in mode of passion or mode of ignorance, it's very difficult for them to progress on the path of spirituality. It's just not possible. वो आपको करने ही नहीं देगा. ठीक है? It's so obstinate, those two modes of material nature. So in order to progress on the path of self-realization, or in order to progress on the path of bhakti, the first thing that we have to do is to be primarily situated in the mode of goodness. Okay, because ultimately our target is to rise above these three modes of material nature. Okay, which is known as the you just transcend the three modes of material nature and remain situated in what is known as the Shuddha Sattva. Okay, but in order to remain in Shuddha Sattva, the first step that we have to take is that we have to primarily be situated in the mode of goodness. And for that, we have to do everything which is in the mode of goodness. Okay, the charity that we do should be in the mode of goodness. The austerities that we perform should be in the mode of goodness. The actions, how we speak, how we sit, how we talk to others, everything should be in the mode of goodness. And the most important thing is the food that we consume, that should also be in the mode of goodness. Okay, so this is what it is being said here. So verses 8 to 10, 8, 9 and 10, 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna will clearly tell us which are the foods that are in the mode of goodness, which are the foods which are in the mode of passion, and which are the foods that are in the mode of ignorance. Okay, so once we know, okay, I would request the parents to please send their kids. There is a parallel kids class going, so they can attend there, and it will be a great learning experience for them. Okay. So Bhagavad Gita chapter number 17, shloka number 8, 9 and 10. In these three shlokas, Lord Sri Krishna is clearly telling us which are the foods that are in the mode of goodness, which are the foods that are in the mode of passion, and which are the foods that are in the mode of ignorance. Okay? One who reads these three shlokas one who understands what Lord Sri Krishna is trying to convey in these three shlokas, that person will have absolutely no confusion in understanding what to eat and what not to eat. Okay, that is point number one. Second, it will be very easy for such people to give up the foods which are in the mode of ignorance and mode of passion. Okay, so these are the two benefits that we will derive from these two shlokas. Okay, so first of all, foods in the mode of goodness. Okay, please try to repeat after me the shloka. Ayuh sattva balarogya sukha priti vivardhana rasya snigdha sthira hridaya aharaha satvika priyaha. Foods dear to those in the mode of goodness increase the duration of life, purity of one's existence, and give strength, health, happiness, satisfaction. Such foods are juicy, fatty, wholesome, and pleasing to the heart. Okay, so these are the qualities of the foods which are in the mode of goodness. So essentially, these foods are the vegetarian food items, and we'll come to see how they are vegetarians. Okay, and also fatty doesn't mean that go and have a cheeseburger outside. Okay, fatty means the foods which are prepared from essentially from milk and milk products. Okay, butter, ghee, and all these things. These are all in the mode of goodness. Okay. So when we talk about foods in the mode of goodness, they essentially comprise of vegetarian foodstuffs without onion and garlic and mushrooms. Okay. Why onion and garlic is avoided, we will come to see little later, and why only vegetarian food is recommended as the food in the mode of goodness, that we will also see later. Okay, just hold on for a while. But when we speak of avoiding onion and garlic, there are a lot of people who question us, back that prabhuji, onion garlic mein kya problem hai? After all, it's also a vegetable, and moreover, it also has a medicinal properties. So just because it has medicinal properties, we should eat, 1 clove of garlic every day. It is good for heart and all those things. So the answer to such question is paracetamol also has medicinal qualities. Do you pop a pill every day, right? Or 3 times a day, maybe breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right? So see, medicinal properties should not be an excuse for consuming certain things which are in the mode of passion or ignorance. Okay, if we really want to stay healthy, then try to alter your lifestyle in such a way that you don't even need to take medicines, or at least take the foods which have certain medicinal quality. Why to depend on that? Okay, rise up early, do a mild workout every day, right? Have a strict routine, sadhana routine, right? That will automatically keep your body healthy, right? You will not be needing anything extra, to keep yourself healthy. So that is one thing. Secondly, it is a proven fact, scientifically proven fact, that garlic, especially garlic, generates a lot of heat in our body. Okay, it agitates the mind, and it also invokes lusty desires within us. Okay, this is a proven fact. So that is another reason why we tend to avoid garlic, especially. And not only us, okay, not only from the spiritual point of view, even the pilots who are in civil aviation, okay, or I don't know about the defense forces, but in the civil aviation I know that even the pilots, they are instructed, they have a certain guidelines that before 48 hours before taking any flight, they should not be consuming, they should try to avoid consuming any food, which has garlic in it. Why? Because it will agitate the mind, and you never know, when you are flying the plane, you might land up in certain situations where you may have to take decisions in a split second. Okay, and you cannot do that if your mind is agitated. Okay, so this is a known fact. This is a medically proven fact. Okay, so again, like rather than depending upon these things, why not just alter our lifestyle, make certain subtle adjustments in your life, that will help you to remain healthy and remain fit. Okay, so another thing, important thing for foods in the mode of goodness. As I said earlier, that the lower modes of material nature, the mode of passion and mode of ignorance, right? They will not allow you to progress on the path of spirituality. Okay, if you have to progress on the path of spirituality, mostly you will have to perform those activities which are in the mode of goodness. Okay, so for the food that we consume, that also has a great impact. Okay, if we always consume foods that are in the mode of passion and foods in the mode of ignorance, trust me, you will not be able to perform any spiritual activities whatsoever. Okay, any devotional service, just forget about that. You will not be able to chant the holy names of Krishna properly. Okay, so it is so dangerous. Okay, so that is the reason why we lay so much stress on foods that are in the mode of goodness. Try to consume that, only that. Okay. Second thing, food in the mode of passion. Okay, please try to repeat after me. This is Bhagavad Gita, chapter number 17, verse number 9. Okay, Katva amla lavanatushna तीक्ष्ण रूक्ष विदाहिनः आहारा राजसः श्रेष्ठा दुःख शोकामय प्रदा. Foods that are too bitter, just read, okay? Try to understand. And any food which has either one or all of these qualities, or say more than one of these qualities, they are all under mode of passion, okay? Foods that are too bitter, too sour, too salty, hot, pungent, dry, burning are dear to those in the mode of passion. Such foods cause distress, misery and disease. Okay, so one question to all of you, especially to Matajis, how many of you like Golgappas or Pani Puris? No, it's even one of my favorite dishes, it used to be, but unfortunately, I have very low tolerance for spices actually. Right, so even I like the taste, but right from my childhood, I only generally used to see people eat, watch people eat. I couldn't eat much, right? But this pani puri is one such food item which satisfies all these criteria, apart from being dry, right? So it is purely in the mode of passion. I mean, sadly it is, but yes, it's that way. Okay, so anything which is very hot, pungent, dry, burning are dear to those in the food in the mode of passion. Okay, and this is another reason why we are avoiding onion and garlic. Okay, so there is pungent smell. Okay, in that, so it is in the mode of passion, and anything which is in the mode of passion or ignorance, we tend to avoid that. Okay, if we see that you try to put any onion and garlic in any food item, okay, the smell is so overpowering that the actual taste of the vegetable that you are cooking is actually sidelined. Okay, take palak paneer for example. You add garlic in that, mostly it will taste like garlic. वहाँ फिर palak और paneer का taste नहीं आएगा, right? So this is just one example that I am giving, but this is the overpowering nature, and it is in the mode of passion, so we tend to avoid that. Okay. And some people, they like very spicy food, and can anyone tell me, like especially the Bhakti Shastri students, right, what are the characteristics of the mode of passion? It is mentioned in the 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. How does it feel in the beginning? How is it in the end? Yeah, it's nectar in the beginning and poison towards the end. Okay, this is what Lord Sri Krishna says about the modes of material nature. Okay, so you just see here also, if you see what it is saying, this shloka is saying that such foods cause distress, misery and disease. So initially while you are eating the pani puris, it's very, very tasty, but then after that it causes problems, right? So same is in the mode of passion. So there was actually, there was one person, actually he or she, I don't know whether he was Mataji or Prabhuji, okay. So they were trying to argue with me, okay, that Prabhuji, this whatever is mentioned in this shloka, okay, too bitter, too sour, too salty, pungent, all these things, they are very relative terms, okay. Something which is bitter for me may not be very bitter for someone else. Someone which is very pungent smelling for me, it might not be very pungent smelling for someone else. Okay, so just this a way to just trying to go around this shloka, so that they can continue eating onion and garlic, right? But we have to understand that whatever Lord Sri Krishna has said, okay, these lines are not said by any ordinary person. Okay, these lines are being said by none other than the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna. Okay. Whatever he says, we just need to follow that blindly. Okay, whatever he says that, okay, if he is saying that too salty, too bitter, too sour, just avoid it. Okay, there is no questions of ifs and buts there. Okay, थोड़ा सा अगर इसमें ऐसे कर दे तो या ऐसे भी हो सकता है. No, it's not like that. Okay, you just have to follow what Krishna is saying. Try to avoid that. Okay, remain in the mode of goodness. Okay, so basically, such people, they try to concoct these concepts, okay, so that ultimately they are being able to gratify their own senses, and continue eating such food items. Okay, so whenever we are preparing prasadam, okay, we need to understand this very, very nicely, and very important learning for all of us. Whenever we are cooking prasadam, we are not cooking for ourselves. Okay, we are cooking for Krishna. It's not that ki I like samosa very much, so I'll prepare samosa, I'll offer it, and I'll have it. Right? For newcomers, that is fine, right? Because when they are initially in ISKCON and when they are initially learning these concepts, then we can give them some leniency. Okay, but for devotees, this is not at all acceptable, because ultimately what we are doing, that in the name of offering bhoga, ultimately we are satisfying our own senses, we are gratifying our own senses. Okay, so this is a very important lesson to learn, that we are not cooking for ourselves, we are simply cooking for Krishna. Just do what Krishna likes. Okay, that's it. Okay, and people may pressurize, especially when we go to our hometowns, the family members are there, friends are there कि अरे प्रभु जी क्या है, कंठी माला पहन लिया तो क्या थोड़ा चलता है एडजस्टमेंट, अभी घर पे इतना कुछ बनाया है, प्लीज you can just have something, right? So just do not give in to such kind of pressurization. Some people will say that अरे प्रभु जी बस आपके लिए ही बनाया है, onion garlic नहीं है इसमें, you can just take it, right? So this is the point where you need to counter. यार मेरे लिए बनाया है, that is the only reason why I am not consuming it. Had you prepared it for Krishna and offered it to him, then I would have happily taken it, right? That is a good enough reason for me to reject this kind of an offering. Okay, so this is something we need to be very careful about. Okay, and as I have said earlier, the food in the mood of passion, it makes the mind turbulent. And another example that I would like to cite here. See, whenever we consume anything in the mode of passion, what will happen, that either we will be running around restlessly, that heat is generated, अब वो heat कहीं तो dissipate करना है, right? It has to come out, right? So we will either be running around, okay, or our minds will be running around. We will be thinking too many things at the same time, trying to do. Very nice example which comes in our mind, in my mind basically, is the group chanting, right? If we have done at some point, right, especially when we are on yatras, or very recently when Bhurijan Prabhu was here, we had this, Japa marathon, right? Just observe how people will do that, right? When they start, they will be very still. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Then slowly the head will start moving. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram. Then slowly whole body will start moving. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Then after that, they will stand up and then start walking here and there. So this is the symptom of a restless mind. Okay, the very reason why we are not able to sit at one place and chant is because of the food that we are consuming. Why? Mostly it is in the mode of passion. See, we all are not expert, sattvic cooks, right? Something we will do, will taste के लिए कहीं ना कहीं we will give in, right? We will add a little bit of spice or something. We cannot live a life of a brahmachari or a sannyasi, right? The householders. So as it is, some contamination is already there. To add on top of that, the ingredients that we are adding, they are not very pure. Okay, in Kali Yuga, you can find anything but purity in either in the people or the ingredients that we are using or anything, right? So as it is, we are contaminated. So that mode of passion will be there. Okay, the challenge is that how much we can control or how much we can restrain ourselves, okay, from consuming anything knowingly, which is in the mode of passion. Okay, you see the picture here, it's of a chart, right? Very tempting, very nicely presented, right? But then the question is how much restraint you have on yourself, that even after looking at such edibles, you can control yourself. That is the whole idea. So you see, Bhagavad Gita, just see, Krishna spoke it around 5,500 years back, right? And still it is so practical. We all know that even if we try to eat something which is very spicy or which is very sour, too hot, what will happen? Scientifically it is known that it damages the mucous lining of our stomach and esophagus, right? So all these scientific things are very nicely explained in the Bhagavad Gita. All we need is to just read it. Okay. The thing is that we just don't read. How many of you, before this session, knew that Lord Krishna has said these verses in the 17th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita? Yeah, some of you will be knowing because you are the senior devotees, but at least the ones who are new to ISKCON, right? Generally what happens, that whenever we talk about Bhagavad Gita, one thing which comes in our mind is karm karo, phal ki chinta mat karo. But this is what the Bhagavad Gita. Somewhere in the calendars or on the back side of a truck, we have seen this punchline, and that is the source of truth, source of information for all of us, right? So Bhagavad Gita is more than that, right? It is the best life manual that we can get. Each and every aspect of your life is explained very nicely. So all we have to do is to pick it up and read. Instead of wrapping it up in a nice red cloth and showing incense sticks, agarbattis every day, it is meant for reading, okay, not for offering incense sticks, right? So just read the book. So coming to the food in the mode of ignorance, okay, please try to repeat after me. Yatayamam gatarasam puti paryushitam chayat uchchishtam api chamedhyam bhojanam tamasa priyam. So food prepared food prepared more than 3 hours before being eaten, food that is tasteless, decomposed, putrid, and food consisting of remnants and untouchable things is dear to those in the mode of darkness. Okay? How many of you are still eating non-vegetarian food? Please be honest, it's okay. Okay, so that's good that none of you are, but this particular shloka is actually indirectly talking about the non-vegetarian foodstuffs. Okay, so we see 2 terms Krishna is using here. One, food that is decomposed, and second, food prepared from untouchable things. Okay, so we'll see how the non-vegetarian food very nicely fits into both these descriptions. Okay, so one is the meat sellers. Okay, most of the meat sellers, they will very nicely advertise their meat by fresh meat tender cut, using this tagline. Now you tell me, how can a dead body be fresh? This decomposition process, that is continuously going on within our body even as I speak, within each and every single one of us. It's just that the life force which is there within our body is preventing it from getting decomposed. As soon as this life force, the spirit soul, leaves this body, almost instantly the decomposition process starts. Okay, so when we are already decomposing, we are already in the continuous process of this decomposition. Tell me, how can a dead body be considered as fresh, right? But this is the way they are marketing it. Okay, so that is non-vegetarian foodstuffs. That is okay. One is that it is decomposed. Okay, second. Yes, and second thing is it is made of untouchable things. Okay, so untouchable things, like I don't know, like at least when I was growing up, okay, so I grew up in a joint family, and there were a lot of grandfathers and grandmothers, all the brothers of my grandfathers, they used to live together. Okay, so we had seen, and at that time they were very, very particular about these things. Okay, that if somehow we are, say, if a pigeon lays an egg, and that egg falls down, in our courtyard, so they would be very particular, don't touch that. Okay, or if some bird is flying above our courtyard, it dropped a bone. Okay, then the person who removed the bone, just went and took a bath like that. This I have seen personally. Okay, so this is the kind of standard the Vedic culture has. Okay, that these dead bodies of not just humans, but of any living organism is considered to be untouchable. Dead body or the part of the dead body. Okay. So just imagine all the non-vegetarians, they are what they are doing, essentially putting in the dead bodies of these animals and birds basically within them. Okay, so this is very, very what to say, a heinous act what they are doing. Okay, and it is completely in the mode of ignorance, because Lord Krishna himself has clearly told that any food which is prepared from untouchable items is in the mode of ignorance. Okay, and it will simply block your consciousness, completely block your consciousness. Can anyone tell me what is the description given by Lord Sri Krishna about mode of ignorance in the Bhagavad Gita? Nectar in the beginning and poison in the end was mode of passion. What about mode of ignorance? It is poison right from the beginning to end. Okay, people in the mode of ignorance, they are very lazy. Generally, they will procrastinate, try to delay their work. Okay, and they will get angry and agitated very easily. Immediately resort to violent, actions. So these are some of the. It makes you violent. Even see, violent may not be just getting into a physical fight or an altercation with someone. Okay, violence also means how you are treating someone on the mental platform. Okay, and you will be very this is very evident in the corporate world. Okay, they will not think twice before stepping on you and moving up the corporate ladder. Okay, so this is also an act of violence. In spite of knowing that a person who has been consistently performing, your all hard works will be ignored. Okay, and then they will be used against you, and then you will be sidelined, and someone else will take the credit for that. Okay, this is very, very common in the corporate world. This is also like an act of violence. This is what all the food that we consume in the mode of ignorance and passion does to us. Okay, so we have to be very careful about this. And still, like in spite of knowing all these things, if you talk about these things to some people who eat the non-vegetarian foodstuffs, they will give you a lot of arguments. Okay, what are some of the common arguments given by the non-vegetarian folks? Let's see. One is the high protein content. Okay, अरे यार ये क्या घास फूस खा रहे हो, उसमें कुछ थोड़े होता है, right? See, this is the chart that I am showing you. Okay, these are based on some of the very authentic sources. Okay, one is from, I think, the food we eat, the first one, and the yellow part which is there, that is from the it's from one insurance company. I'm forgetting the name. Okay, but I'll just maybe I can circulate that in the group. Okay, so this has clear cut given us the comparison, between, say, egg is very nicely highlighted, by everyone. Sunday hoya Monday, rose khao one day. Why? Because it has a lot of protein content. Correct? But you just see, this is the reality. Selling of the eggs and marketing the eggs is one of the biggest propaganda that has happened. Just to I don't know, maybe for some personal benefits or some profit making or something. Okay, might be there. But there are so many vegetarian food items which are equivalent in protein. Okay, protein content. And so many wrestlers of India, okay, and bodybuilders in India, they are actually vegetarians. Statistics which I would like to share is that around 60 to 65% of the wrestlers who represent India in the Olympic Games are vegetarians, and they have won medals for India, right? Then how can you say that non-vegetarian food is in some way superior to vegetarian food items? Okay, and second argument which they give is that अरे यार ये B12 नहीं मिलता है, right? In vegetarian people you will always find the deficiency of B12. This is another conspiracy or another propaganda. So much so that even if you try to visit a doctor, basically, okay, immediately they'll first ask you, are you a vegetarian or are you not a vegetarian? Oh, you are a vegetarian. Okay, you start taking this B12 supplement without even testing that अरे इसके deficiency है नहीं है, nothing, just because that person is a vegetarian, they will just simply prescribe B12. Very few people know, and even scientists agree to it, that simply by walking barefoot on the mud or grass, will give you sufficient amount of vitamin B12. It is a known fact. Okay. So now that all of you know this, next time when you go for Govardhan Parikrama, please do that barefoot. Okay. Don't wear slippers. Okay. So it will give you ample amount of vitamin B12. And very important thing to understand. See, our Vedic culture is so advanced and so scientific. Just think about our desi sports. Which are there. What sports we used to play in India? Wrestling, kabaddi, kho-kho. These are the three major sports. All of these sports, if you see, you just have to roll on mud, basically. So just see how scientific these sports were actually. Somehow, due to the influence of Western culture and their propagation, that okay, there is one game which is known as the gentleman's game. So I'll be a gentleman. I will not be rolling on the mud. Okay, I am a software engineer. How can I allow my kids, my sons and daughters to roll on the mud? It's so low class, yeah, so middle class, right? I mean, I shouldn't be doing that, right? So this is the kind of mind mentality that we have these days, right? We need to give that up. Another important aspect, which I would like to, the scientific thing that I am telling you, okay? I hope all of you remember a recent Bhagavatam class that I took upon different planetary systems, right? And we know that we are on the Earth planetary system, right? And this Earth planetary system, it is not just this Prithvi, okay, just one planet, but it's a concentric disk and it has innumerable planets which has. The reason why it is known as the Earth planetary system is because the Earth element is the most predominant in this particular planetary system. Okay, we all know that our gross body is made up of 5 elements. Okay, Earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So although 70% of our body is water, but the predominant element in our body is the earth element. So more we remain in contact with the earth, that the more we will get the benefit out of it, the more we will stay healthy. That is the reason why in the previous days people used to sit on the ground and honor prasadam or take their food. Okay, the concept of dining table was not there in the Vedic culture. The sports that I just mentioned, again, it is again being in the contact with earth, wrestling, kabaddi and all those things, right? So these are very scientific, subtle scientific things which we generally don't know, or these knowledge which we have actually lost over a period of time due to the influence of Western culture. Okay, so we have to be very, very careful. We have to understand what are the foods that we are eating, and the concept of chappan bhog, that is only in the vegetarian food items. Okay, does anyone know what is this chappan bhog? How did this concept came up? Yes, please.
During the Govardhan mountain selected by Krishna, the 7 days, and he used to Yashodama used to feed Krishna a few times a day. So calculation was 7 days plus that number of times he used to feed that could be
Chappan, very nice. So it's not just Govardhan Leela. Mother Yashoda, just out of her motherly affection for Lord Sri Krishna, she used to feed him 8 times a day and 7 days a week, right? So 7 8s are 56. So from there, this concept of now, do you really think that Mother Yashoda would have fed meat, mutton, and fish to Lord Sri Krishna? She only prepared vegetarian food items. That too mostly prepared from milk, right? And she used to feed him, right? So tell me in which vegetarian menu you would find 56 items on non-veg items. Which non-vegetarian menu you will not be able to find, right? So there are so many varieties there in the vegetarian food items. Why to even think of looking at non-veg food stuffs? Okay, and also another important thing is that whenever there is a small, even a critical health issue, small or big or whatever, the first thing which the doctors recommend is to give up the non-vegetarian food stuff. Okay, they will just put a tab on your non-veg consumption. Why is it so? If non-vegetarian food is so good, then they should be actually instigating you more to eat. Initially, as long as you are healthy, they will tell you to eat non-veg. Once a small health issue comes up, just stop eating non-veg, right? So that itself tells us that it's just a propaganda. There is no consistency there. Okay. Another argument which the non-vegetarian folks give us is that chicken ka population बहुत बढ़ जाएगा if we don't eat them, right? As if we have been given, made in charge of keeping a tab on the chicken population, right? What is Devi Durga doing then? Do these guys really think that they are more well equipped than Durga Devi, or they are more well versed about this material nature or material world than Durga Devi? She is Jagdamba. She knows more than every single one of us. Okay, not just of this planet, but from all the planets of all the universes which are there, right? So don't you think that it is her responsibility to see that the needs of each and every Jivatma is being met, right? Who are we to say that, okay, chicken's population is going to increase or goat population is going to increase? You just take care of yourself, that itself is more than enough, right? Correct? So this kind of nonsensical logics they will give, okay? Another very important point which I would like to touch upon is the health issues, right? I said that whenever there is a small health issue, what happens? The doctor simply puts a tab on us, okay, that don't stop eating non-veg. Now the health issues are something, it is not only because of our lifestyle, okay, or the food that we are eating, okay. The food that we eat, the lifestyle that we live, they only act as a catalyst, okay, but the most important thing, the only thing which is responsible for any health issues is our past life karma, okay. We have to understand that. Let me tell you, this way, that say for example, if I am having a deficiency of say any vitamin in my body, okay, it is mostly because of the past life bad deeds that I have done, and as a result I am facing some health issues in the form of the deficiency, okay. Now just imagine that because of some sinful action, I am getting a reaction which is in the form of deficiency of a vitamin. To counter that sinful reaction, I am committing more sins, by eating non-vegetarian food items. Right? So just tell me what kind of logic is that, right? So this is a very subtle science again. I wish I could take another session on karma in depth, and then you will be understanding that how difficult it is, or how complex this whole thing is. How difficult it is to comprehend, and how complex this whole karma cycle is. Okay, so because of our past life karmas, this all the health issues, or any financial issues that are there in our lives, they actually keep surfacing. Just by consuming non-vegetarian food items, it may seem that okay, this is curing us of that health problem or anything which is there, but trust me, it can give you a patch of good health, but there is a long like what to say, a huge patch of ill health is waiting in the pipeline. Okay, so we also need to be very careful about what kind of karma that we are doing. Okay, so it all boils down to that. Okay, so now one more argument which non-vegetarians put forward is that vegetarians also eat plants, and plants are also living organisms. Okay, so aren't we not committing sins when we are killing them? Okay, yes, they are very right in this aspect. Okay, karma is there, and the problem with this material world is that it actually goes on one rule, and that rule is jivo jivasya bhojanam. Okay, that in order to survive, we have to kill something or someone. Okay, some other living entity will act as food for us, and only then we will be able to survive. But the problem is, the moment we kill something or someone, we will get the karmic reaction. So now this is the complex cycle or complex chakra, where we have been put into. That either you survive here, and for survival you will have to kill, and if you kill, you will get the sinful reactions for that. So now this is a very confusing state, right? How to get out of this? Okay, and this is where the science of Mahaprasadam comes into picture. Okay, so Krishna tells us in the Bhagavad Gita itself. Okay, what should be eaten. Okay, it is clearly told by Lord Sri Krishna, and how the food should be eaten, that is also told by Sri Krishna, which will not encounter any sinful reactions. Rather, it will burn away the sinful reactions of not just this lifetime, but millions and millions of lifetimes. Okay, so we'll see. So first, shloka number 13, third chapter. Okay, please try to repeat after me. Yagya Shishtashina Santo Muchyante Sarvakil Vishay Bhunjate Te Tvagham Papa Ye Pachantyatma Karanat. The devotees of the Lord are released from all kinds of sins because they eat food which is offered as a sacrifice. So here is the science of Mahaprasad. Okay, first thing, once you offer the food to Lord Sri Krishna and accept it as a prasadam, all the sins of your millions and millions of lifetimes will be burnt instantly. Krishna himself enters into your body and cleanses you from within. Okay, that is the first thing. Okay. Others who prepare food for personal sense enjoyment verily eat only sin. Okay, if we are eating food without offering to Lord Sri Krishna or any other Devi or Devta which we believe in, then we are only eating sin. And just imagine, we have been doing this for so many years, right? Before coming to Krishna consciousness. कुछ भी मन किया, कहीं भी मन किया, चले गए, खा लिया कुछ भी कहीं से, right? Without even thinking about Krishna, without even thinking about any other Devi or Devta, right? So all these years we have been committing sins and only sins, right? So this is how the food must be consumed, right? This is what Lord Sri Krishna is teaching us. Offer it to Krishna, accept it as a prasadam. Okay, this is the point number 1. Verse number 26, chapter number 9. We all know that. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yome bhaktya prayachati tad aham bhaktya upritam ashnami priyatatmanaha. If one offers me with love and devotion a leaf, a flower, a fruit or water, I'll accept it. Right? This is what Krishna is saying. Remember when I was talking about food in the mode of goodness, I said that that food is essentially a vegetarian food without onion, garlic and mushroom. Why? Here is the answer. Here is the menu which Krishna is giving us, that okay, these are the things which I accept. What is it? Patram, leaf, pushpam, flower, phalam, fruits. Right? You think deeply, any vegetarian food item you think of, okay, it will fall in these three categories, okay, or a part of these three categories. Yes, Mataji. Yeah, I'll tell you. So it will fall in these three categories, right? And by performing the leelas in the Braj, right? Lord Sri Krishna has also given us the another menu, which is Mataji is saying the milk and milk products, right? He used to steal butter. He used to drink a lot of milk and the milk products basically. Okay. So these are the foods which Krishna accepts with love and devotion. Krishna is not saying in this particular shloka meatam, chickenam, muttonam or anything like that, right? Okay, so we have to avoid that. And this is also a shloka which can be used to counter all the non-vegetarian people, right? Some people they ask very rudely, क्या भगवान ने कहा है क्या कि non-veg नहीं खाना है? Tell them, yes, the students of Bhagavad Gita can just answer them back. हाँ भगवान ने कहा है ये देख पढ़े यहाँ पे, right? This is what Krishna is telling us, right? So Krishna in these two verses are clearly telling us what we should be eating and how we should be eating it. Okay. Another thing, it's a culture here in Bangalore especially, right? In weekends don't cook at home. चलो कहीं बाहर चलते हैं, right? Any restaurant, right? So at ISKCON we generally ask devotees to avoid eating outside in restaurants until unless it's Govindas, right? And I think it is one of the best things that has happened to the devotees, especially the Grihasthas, right? We generally wait, कि अभी गोविंदास मिला है, अब तो पिछले 2-3 महीने का बैकलॉग है, बटर नान एंड पनीर बटर मसाला सब निकालना है यहाँ पे, right? So but still, jokes aside, but yeah, we try to ask people that avoid anything which is cooked outside, okay, especially in the restaurants. Why? First, obvious reason is that hygiene is a very, very big concern. Okay, I'll cite 2 of my personal examples, okay, where I'll tell you that how the hygiene is actually compromised in such places, okay. And we never know how fresh the ingredients are or how stale the ingredients are, okay. So the 2 incidents which I can recall is one, I guess all of you know Kartikeya Prabhuji, right, His Grace Kartikeya Prabhu. Before coming to ISKCON, he was working here in one of the multinational companies, and at that time also he was a very serious practitioner of Krishna consciousness. And he used to come from the office, and only thing, like he had completely stopped eating outside. Occasionally he used to like drink fruit juices outside. There was a stall outside his office, and there he used to go sometimes, and he used to take a glass of fruit juice. One day he went there, he ordered the fruit juice, and at the same time he was chanting, and he was just observing that guy who was actually making the juice, right? So this guy, what he did, he took a piece of cloth and he wiped that container in which the juice was being prepared, and with the same cloth he wiped off his face, the sweat which was there on his face. And Kartikeya Prabhu said that was the last day I consumed any fruit juices or anything outside. I just stopped taking anything outside, from that point on. Second is my own personal experience, I'll tell you. This goes way back in 2004, 2005, when I was doing my post-graduation. And in my college was situated in such a way that the back portion of that college used to face the kitchen of a bakery. Okay, and that bakery was very popular in my hometown. Okay. So, and I could see, clearly anyone could see that what was going on in the kitchen. And one day I was just standing in the corridor waiting for my class, and I was just looking, and what I saw that, 2 people, they came there, they took the dough with which they were about to bake the cake, threw it down on the floor, both of them climbed on that dough, and then they started stomping, and this is how they, make the dough of the cake, right? And from that day onwards, I stopped eating any bakery items. So this is the hygiene factor, okay. So first thing that is compromised is the hygiene, okay, in the restaurants. Outside the ambience might be very good, very jazzy, okay. You may feel that this is a like a 5-star treatment, but you never know what is going on inside the kitchen, okay. So please try to avoid that. On the subtle platform, okay, another thing which I would like to highlight here also the science of Mahaprasadam comes up, okay. Whenever a person is cooking, especially when they are doing fire cooking, okay, the 2 things which get transferred from that person into that food is the consciousness of that person, 1. Second, karma of that person, okay. Very few people know this. Students of the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam will know this, but most of the people are completely ignorant to this fact, okay. The consciousness of a person. Now, say for example, a person who is cooking the food is having very lusty thoughts in their mind. Okay, that same consciousness will be transferred to the food, and the person who will consume that food will get that kind of consciousness only. If a person is very angry while cooking the food, right, same anger will get transferred into that food, and if a person consumes that food, your mind will also be agitated. This is 100% guaranteed. Okay, and second is the karma of that person. Now, in this age of Kali Yuga, we all are so fallen, right? Do you actually feel that we are so qualified that we can take karma of other people? Only our spiritual masters can do that. We are not at that platform right now, right? So please try to avoid anything which is cooked outside. Cook nice prasadam at home, right? Cook nice prasadam at home, offer it to Sri Krishna, and have it. No problems in that. But try to avoid anything which is cooked outside. Okay, we are almost on time. Okay. So another aspect which I would like to touch upon is that there are no visible change, when we offer the prasadam. One may ask, Prabhuji, मैंने भोग चढ़ाया, उधर बंद किया, अभी ऑल्टर खुला तो वैसे ही का वैसे ही है. भगवान ने लिया नहीं लिया, अभी मेरे को क्या पता, right? People may ask that, right? So the answer is basically in the Brahma Samhita. Okay, it gives us that each and every sense organ of Krishna, okay, that can take up the role of all the other sense organs. Okay, and in the Brahma Samhita it is clearly mentioned, Angani yasya sakalendriya vittimanti pashyanti panti kalayanti chiram jaganti, which means each of the limbs of the transcendental figure possesses in himself the full-fledged functions of all the organs, and eternally sees, maintains, manifests the infinite universes, both spiritual and mundane. That means each and every sense organ of Lord Sri Krishna is capable of performing functions of any other sense organ. So he can accept your prasadam just by merely glancing at it. He doesn't need to take it and eat it, right? And all this he is doing out of his causeless mercy, right? There are hundreds and thousands of Lakshmis, goddesses of fortune, serving him. Srimati Radharani is there to take a very good care of him. The kind of foodstuffs which he is being offered in the Golok Vrindavan are something which we can't even imagine. That is beyond our imagination. Then still he comes here and just tries to accept whatever we are offering him, right? It's something which is very out of his causeless mercy he is doing for us. Okay, so just by glancing at the prasadam, he accepts it. And one very gross example that we cite here at ISKCON is that when you send an email, what happens? One copy goes to the sender, another copy is there in your sent item, right? So similarly, when you offer prasadam, one copy goes to Sri Krishna, other one is here in the altar as a prasadam. So you just accept that, okay? So this is the visible changes, okay? So as I said that he has the potency to, the Krishna transfers actually his potency by just glancing at the prasadam. He spiritualizes the prasadam, and most importantly makes it karma free. Okay, we will not incur any sinful reaction if we consume only prasadam. Personally he enters our body. Once we are honoring the prasadam, he personally enters our body and cleanses us from within. So another very important thing to note, another very important lesson to note, that there is no difference between Krishna and prasadam. Okay, it's just another form of Lord Sri Krishna. So while honoring prasadam, we should be very, very careful. Okay, we should watch out for all the possible Vaishnava etiquettes. Try to talk very less when you are honoring prasadam. Try that you are not shouting, while honoring prasadam. Do not get up in between, when you have started honoring prasadam. These are some of the basic etiquettes that we have to follow. And just by doing this, we will progress very nicely on the path of devotional service. Okay. And person, as I said, that there are many other limbs of devotional service, like, very different angas of bhakti. Some may be a very good kirtaniya or a book distributor, or, maybe they give a nice classes on Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Some may be very good cooks also, right? If a person is not interested in chanting, if a person is not interested in book distribution, if a person is not interested in attending any satsang, no problems at all. Okay, simply prepare nice bhoga for Krishna, offer it and honor it regularly. Okay, that itself, this very process itself is so potent that within a very quick time you will be able to see that your heart is being transformed, your consciousness is being transformed, and slowly and surely you will start taking interest in all of these activities. Your quality of chanting will improve, your attendance in the temples will improve. Okay, you will no longer be only a weekend devotee. Okay, you will observe that you will start coming to temple more regularly. Okay, these are tried and tested things, results that we have observed simply by honoring prasadam. Okay, so no need to be ashamed. When you are taking prasadam, eat to your heart's content. Go there, take several times. This is what Prabhupada used to say. Itna khilao that that instantly they will become a good devotee, right? So this is what the subtle aspects of the prasadam is. Okay. Now coming to the last slide, how to offer bhoga at home. Okay, many of the people will be having the questions now that okay, प्रभु जी इतना कुछ तो आपने बता दिया कि भोगा में ये होता है, ऐसे होता है, वैसे होता है, but भोगा लगाएं कैसे, right? So when you offer the bhoga, first thing is that you need to have an altar and a separate set of utensils on which you will be offering the bhoga to Lord Sri Krishna. Okay, that set of utensils will be only exclusively for Lord Sri Krishna. We will not be using it for our personal use. Okay, point number one. Altar. Try to install an altar. Like as per what your budget permits. If you can, then you can have a big altar like this we have here, okay? Or even a small altar will do, but ensure that it has at least curtains, with that. So the process is that you take the bhoga, okay, in the utensils which you have set aside for Lord Sri Krishna, okay? Always remember that water should be there, okay? You cannot just offer foodstuffs, okay? You have to offer water along with the foodstuffs and tulsi leaves. Okay, without these three things, that bhoga offering is incomplete. Okay, just keep that bhoga in front of the deities, close the altar, okay, pull the curtains, and chant these mantras 3 times each, while ringing the bell simultaneously. Okay, first is the Guru Pranam mantra. Now this one is only for the devotees who are initiated or who have taken the shelter. Okay, the initiated devotees or the devotees who have taken shelter, they are also given the pranam mantra of the Guru from whom they are about to take the shelter or from whom they have already taken initiation. Okay, so this is the first step is only for initiated and shelter devotees. Okay, for other devotees, you start from the step number 2. Okay, first you chant the Prabhupada pranam mantra 3 times. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे 3 बार करना है. Okay, 3 times. Then we will chant the pranam mantra for Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Okay, नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरत विषय नमः 3 times again. Okay, then finally you chant this mantra नमो ब्रह्मणाय देवाय गो ब्राह्मणाय हिताय च जगद हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय नमो नमः. Okay, then Hare Krishna Mahamantra 1 time and then Hari Om Tat Sat. After doing this, leave the food, the prasadam, leave the bhoga there, offered for say 5 minutes. Okay, after 5 minutes you can remove the bhoga, mix it with the remaining food that you have prepared, and then after that you can honor that as a prasadam. Okay, so this is all I had to share, okay, on the power of prasadam. Okay, I hope all of you like the session. As usual, I try to put some nice slides so that the session is little interesting, with the pictures. And if there are any questions right now, I am hoping that there are a lot of questions, so you can ask.